President Biden's decision to drop out of the race is throwing the Democratic Party into chaos just months before the election. And joining us live now in the studio is local political consultant Tony Cignoli. Tony, thanks once again.
Absolutely.
Tony was with us last night, is back again. Now we've had a little more time to digest this bombshell issue. Let me start off by this. We didn't see the president yesterday. Not even like a still picture of him on the phone. Isn't that kind of odd that he would make that announcement not only on Twitter, but not have like an official White House announcement?
You know, it is. And historically, when you think about the last time that this was done with LBJ, I mean, he did it from the Oval. You know, it was a lot of pomp, a lot of importance to it and all. But maybe it's just that we're in the new age. So the president does this on social media. Certainly, from what we understand, he hadn't been feeling well, etc. So there's a lot of reasons that could be the case, but it also still gives him the chance to do something more this week, to make it even, hit the whole topic one more time. Why Harris? Why did you pick her for VP in the first place? I think there's a degree of drama that's going on right now, too. And probably the people around the president are starting to give him some better advice on his timing of certain things.
No doubt he's recovering from COVID, so he probably still has the cough. He's hoarse. He wants to look as good as possible when he makes that announcement. You can't blame him for that after everything that he's been through recently. Endorsements. He's gotten a lot of endorsements. She has gotten a lot of endorsements from the people that were pushing or asking Biden to leave, but not from, so far as we know, President Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Hakeem Jeffries, all leaders in the House and the Senate, and the people behind the scenes. When do those endorsements come?
I think they get rolled out. Each one of those names you just said is so important and has great impact to stand on its own weight. Pelosi will wait for Jeffries. That would be standard protocol. He's now the leader of the Democratic House. Schumer, I think you'll see soon in that same regard. Obama, I think, will be the holdout because what we've already have heard from Barack Obama. He seems to be leaning towards, I'd like a little mini primary. I'd like to open this up. I'd like to see who else is out there. The difficulty on that for Barack Obama is that so many of those key names that could enter this, a Whitmire, a Buttigieg, a Shapiro, they've already endorsed Kamala Harris. What we talked about last night, what was happening last night, there was this massive move by Harris herself and others to really move and motivate key players to get on board. Emulate the Republicans in lockstep behind one candidate. Let's not have distractions until the convention. Let's all get behind Harris early.
And it's all about money as well, as we know. And so the money that was behind Biden now automatically goes to Harris? How does that work?
Exactly. It's the Biden-Harris campaign. So she inherits. It can be done. There's some paperwork that goes along with it and whatnot, but she's the only candidate who could enter into this fray post-Biden with 200 million plus. No one else could say that. No other name could come forward. And as you speak about money, last night, by about 11 o'clock, $35 million in small donations to Harris. That shows that there's an opportunity for excitement. And those are small donors. Those are average, regular folks. 100, 50, 15. $5.
We had talked about this last night as well, that before the debate, both candidates were unlikable as far as the American public was concerned. Then we had the debate, then we had the attempted assassination, now we have this. People were looking for some kind of change. They said they were tired of these two candidates. They were looking for some kind of change. Now the change has happened. It might mean more people going to the polls in November. And actually, early voting starts in about, 57 days in Pennsylvania?
Exactly. It's that soon. And many of the different early voting states, they had start at different times. But that's everyone that's been focused on November 5th, that's not the game. The game begins so much earlier. And to the point that you just made on money, et cetera, on excitement, on change. Change is one of the most powerful words in politics. And before this, we had a massive majority of folks, whether they love Trump or we're going to vote for Biden or whatever, saying, I don't like either candidate. So Trump is still on the Republican side, but now there's change on the Democratic side. And that alone can add a lot of impetus for folks to get on board on the Democratic side who were not excited about Joe Biden.
Obviously, President Trump has already started to focus on Kamala Harris, and so that becomes a totally different campaign because they were sitting there thinking it was going to be Biden. Now it's Harris. How does that change his focus and his campaign?
for the Republicans, for Donald Trump, for J.D. Vance, everything right now is going to come down to immigration, the border, the border, the border. That's the attack point on Kamala Harris, saying that she was tasked to go and try to fix this. She couldn't do it. That will be that spin, and they'll be pushing that very hard. We've already seen that that's the heavy social media hit already, and that there were already some pretty good videos put together for social media along those lines. So certainly they wanted Biden to be their opponent, but they knew there was the possibility of Harris. So any good consultant is going to game that out ahead of time and get ready. So we're seeing already today that that's what the messaging is from Trump and the Republican Party.
All right, we'll talk about Kamala Harris's chances coming up in the next half hour. Tony Cignoli, thanks very much for joining us this morning.